am back for week 2 of crafting for fall. I hope you enjoyed last week's kickoff video for fall season. I loved how everything turned out last week. So if you missed it, go ahead and rewind and catch up on that. But we are going to continue crafting for fall, which is my favorite season in this video. And I have so much fun inspiration heading your way. So grab something warm to drink if it's cold in your area. It is still stifling hot in my area, so I have something cold to drink. And we're gonna go ahead and start crafting for fall once again. Be sure to let me know which is your favorite. Also click on the title of the video if you want to see any of the things I'm using to craft with today. And let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. If you know me at all, you know every fall I restart Gilmore Girls. And I feel like I've only made it through the first 2 seasons. And every year I feel like I have to restart it. I don't know why. This year I'm just gonna start where I left off because I'll never finish it if I don't. But you know I'm a Gilmore Girl lover, and I am going to make this Chilton Prep School sweatshirt. I am so excited about this. I actually did not realize when I bought this that it was a PNG, and I've always used SVGs to use as cut files, but I did put this into Design Space and it worked. So I will say it had a little bit of, not trouble, but the way it cut the bow was a little bit different, but everything else cut beautifully. So I wanted to mention that. I've never used a PNG, but I guess maybe the way I uploaded it, I'm not sure. But hey, here we are. It has already cut out, and so we're good to go. So I bought this cream colored sweatshirt at Hobby Lobby. I'm in love with Comfort Colors. I think they make some beautiful products. This is so high quality too. And then I'm using a very classy navy to put on the front. And I couldn't be more excited about this sweatshirt. This might be my favorite thing that I create all of fall. Okay, I'm gonna go to my heat press and get this pressed on. I'm going to pre-press my sweatshirt. I did pre-wash my shirt just to accommodate for any shrinkage if that were to occur, and to also make sure there was nothing on the material that would prevent my iron-on from laying down. Also, in another way to prevent anything being on the material, I am going to lint roll this before I place my iron-on down. All right, let's get this on there. Okay, and it looks so good. I'm going to turn this over on my very cold glass mat just to help draw out the heat a little bit quicker, to keep crafting moving along. And then I will go ahead and pull that liner off. Here we go. Officially Gilmore Girl season. Last year I was doing Gilmore Girls and a puzzle most of fall and winter, and it was so relaxing. I need to go get a fun fall puzzle. It just ended up being such a relaxing way to end the day. And a small glass of red wine was probably involved. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about that. Love how that turned out. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple piece of home decor. Now, not everything that I make for fall season screams fall. Sometimes I just like to rotate out some decor, and I'm going to do that with this piece. I'm also going to cut off this little rope, and I'll go back and probably, well, I know I'll definitely trim that down more, even probably remove that staple. But for the meantime, I'll do that, and then I'll remove this little guy as well. But I'm not gonna hang this, and I'm also not going to have it be vertical. I'm gonna have this be a horizontal sign. And I'll also really quickly grab my rubbing alcohol. I'm trying to decide where I got this. I've had this in my craft room for a while. And of course there's no tag on it. I almost wanna say Hobby Lobby maybe, because it was in a pile with other Hobby Lobby things. I had forgotten about it. I have it underneath my Glowforge, this little pile of things, so I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. But you can find things like this in quite a few places. So, okay, let's go ahead and do, that is making my focus go a little wonky here. I'm going to weed this out. I have a cute little saying. I've wanted to do this forever because this is so my stance when it comes to my home. Oop, hold on. Gotta go a tad slower there. I forgot that there were some teeny tiny letters at the bottom. Okay, there we go. So this is so fun. It says farmhouse-ish, home minus the actual farm. And that is so me. I love the farmhouse feel, and that's how I decorate my house, but I don't live on a farm. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then this little dash came off. So I'm gonna place that right back there and remove all my middle pieces. Okay, I got all of my middles weeded out, but I just have to move this little A back into place. It wanted to move. It's gonna work right there. Okay, now, I mentioned, was it last week or so? I'm trying to use up my paper transfer tape because I've had it for a very long time. And it doesn't go bad because I've had this for probably, gosh, over 3 years. But I just have found that I'm forgetting to use it. So I'm going to be using that up. Usually I reserve this for low tack projects because it is a very low tack tape, but it works on everything. So the main reason you'd want to use this is if you are doing vinyl on a paper project, which we are going to do in just a little bit. But again, it works on anything. All right, I'm gonna burnish that on the front and back. Trim down that tape just so it helps me align my design in just a moment. Less is more for me if I want to have anything centered. There we go. And let me go ahead and peel away my cutting sheet. It's ready to go. All right, let's bring this right back in. I love the feel of this sign too because it is absolutely farmhouse-ish. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that's centered the best that I can, aligned the best that I can. I think that looks good. Lay that down. Yeah. And burnish once more. And remove the transfer tape. So cute. I love this. And you can do so many fun things with this. You can put it on any type of sign. Again, this is more of a farmhouse look, so I thought this was a perfect sign to put this design on. Okay, again, I'm gonna go through and further remove that rope, but I love how that looks. It's gonna be so fun in my house. This is something that I did last year for Christmas. If you get these little soft soaps, it's easy to remove the labeling from the front and back, so you can remove that and put something a little bit more festive on top. So I'll just gently grab and lift, and then I'm gonna go slow. I've had this in my craft room for over a year. I bought a Christmassy one and a fall one last year at the same time. So I'm gonna go slow. Okay, and if you have any residue, do you see that little residue there? You can just put some rubbing alcohol on there and it'll come right off. I'll do the same for the back. Just like so. Okay. And then again, I have that little smudge there. So I'm just gonna add a little rubbing alcohol and see if I can't buff that away. Yep, it looks great. Also just cleaning the surface so that it lays down really nice. All right, now I have a really pretty but simple design, not doing anything wild here, but just simply putting a festive fall maple leaf right on this soap container. There we go. Okay, and then I'll grab my little leaf. I'm gonna keep this piece of transfer tape large because it's gonna be the perfect size for the next project that I'm doing, so it'll give me a chance to reuse the tape. I'm going a little slower here. This one doesn't want to remove quite as easy. Sometimes that happens, but just being gentle and going slow so my vinyl doesn't tear or get misplaced. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, and then I thought it'd be fun just to kind of tilt this right on this soap bottle. Something that's super simple, but it's a little bit more festive than just the generic label. Isn't that pretty? Super easy, and these are super affordable. Gosh, I want to say they're around $1, right? I can't remember, but very affordable and an easy way to decorate a little space for fall, or really any season. While I have this transfer tape still out, let's go ahead and do another vinyl project. I am going to redecorate this little frame. I found this at the Target dollar spot. It was $5, but I really loved this more fall vibe of the frame. This is really adorable inside, but I thought I would do something just a tad different. And even though this is intended to be vertical, you can make it horizontal as well. It's probably not as steady, but for the tiny season that we are going to be using this, it's going to work just fine. And I love doing stuff like this because it also provides for some temporary decor. You can redecorate this year after year, or when you're done, you can use this as an actual picture frame and put a photo in it. So I love that about it. Okay, I'm going to look at this really quickly and size this out. It is about 3.5 by 4.5. So I'm going just to take some 80-pound cardstock and cut that down. And it's just a little shy of 3.5, so I'll do 3 3/8. And I'll do 4 3/8. Okay, before I do anything else though, I will double check that that is good to go. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So now we just have a blank slate here. You can keep this right inside as well, and it works perfectly. All right, I'm gonna bring out this piece, and then I have a little fun design that actually I have reused from seasons past, but I love it. I've made a door sign with this, and I can't remember what else, but it's just a fun design. Again, a great reminder that you can get designs and then use them for a variety of things. So if you have some favorites, you can reuse them year after year or make things for friends. And again, taking my time here because my vinyl wants to stick down. I'll have to fix that L in just a minute. All right, so this says Hello Fall and has really cute little vines on either side. Let me fix this L really quickly. Just reposition that down. Now we are going to be placing this on cardstock. So this again is going to be a low tack transfer tape project so that we don't rip the cardstock. So if you have a low tack transfer tape, you'll want to pull it out. I'd be very hesitant to use anything of a higher tack, and by that I mean that is more sticky, because it could potentially most likely rip your tape unless you're super careful, I guess, and maybe don't over burnish, but I avoid it for sure. Okay, reusing that transfer tape, just place this right over my design, burnish once more, and definitely on the back, and then the design will be right there. Okay. Let's get this all centered best that we can. I'm going to trim this down a little bit. Sometimes that really helps me when centering things. All right, that should be good. And you can burnish with your finger or a scraper. It's really not going to take much, but see how that low tack transfer tape is super safe with the paper underneath? There's absolutely no risk of that coming and tearing up. Okay, so now I have my little sign here. Place this right on in. Very easy, quick, affordable, and again, this can be, oh, I love that. This can be absolutely a temporary piece of decor because you can go ahead and remove this at the end of the season. And again, I placed that original design in there that came in the frame. So you can use this and then remove it and do something different next year or for a different season. When at Hobby Lobby, I saw this in their kind of kitchen section, if you will, and I loved the color for fall. This was $3.29 and has given us a very ample space to personalize, so I think this will be really fun. Okay, I have some iron on here as well. Once more, I am reusing a design from years past. I can't remember what I made with this last time. I need to bring all my fall decor out because it is time to decorate, which I absolutely love to do. Okay, there we go. This says fall is in the air, and I love this design. This might be the third time I've used it. You'll have to tell me if you remember. But I love it because if you put it on a sign, it's gonna look completely different than if you put it on a pot holder or if you put it on a shirt, a tote bag. I love that about designs. Of course, it's the same design, but it's gonna give a different feel because of what you place it on. All right, I also have a cute little leaf here. And then 2 more little middle pieces and I'm good to go. Okay, heading over to my heat press again. I'm just going to lower the pressure so I can fit, actually this is probably the same thickness as my sweatshirt that I just did, so it'll probably be just fine. But don't you think that's gonna look so pretty on there? Easy to personalize, and I love that. Right, that is all ready to go. Again, just like last time, placing that face down. This might take a little bit longer to draw the heat out. Remove the liner and the design is right on the surface. I love that. I think that is so fun. A fun little piece of decor as well. All right, let's move on to one more project, which is this fun tote. I absolutely adore this tote. I have used it so many times. $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. Not sure why it says paper crafts. I am not sure why it says that. And what I'm going to do really quickly, now one thing you want to note here is it has this almost waxy interior, so you're just going to want to monitor that because we're going to put iron on it. So again, we will be applying some heat, so just monitor that. But Hobby Lobby, love it. I have done so many fun little designs on this tote. This makes it for a really, really great gift as well. I'm going to do this really fun design again with a classy navy colored iron-on. All right, this is so fun. This says Pumpkin Patch Crew, and I mirrored the design because I am using iron-on, but I loved the look of this. It was so fun, and we are gearing up to do our pumpkin patch day, and we definitely have a fun crew that we go with, so this tote had to happen. There we go. Okay, same as before. I'm going to do all the same steps, but this time we are applying this fun design to this tote. Okay, I'm bringing out my mini because this is so thick that even though I put the handles off to the side, it was hard for it to clamp down. So it got most of it, but there are still some areas that need a little bit more. So I'm going to put this on medium, and we are just going to manually have this lay down. I really should have thought of that in the first place, but I gave it a try anyway. And while that's heating up, I will start to just iron this down. I have a heat mat right underneath, and you're just going to move around this little press and heat all of the areas. This is so nice for doing focus presses, and then you can do it on any type of curved surface too. So it's really handy to have in your craft room. Okay, let that cool down a little bit, and I'm just going to remove the liner. If you're having trouble getting this to lay down, let it cool completely and the liner will come off a lot better. All right, and again, we can always add more heat to any of the areas. But that looks really good. Oh, I love the classy look of this tote. That's so cute. I might add just a little bit more heat to the little dot to the eye. And again, because this is so small, you can reheat certain areas without it reheating the entire design. That is so cute. I love that. Okay, so many fun things. I'm loving this farmhouse sign. Again, doesn't necessarily scream fall, but I love the opportunity when the seasons change to do some different decor around the house. I really like how that turned out. The Chilton sweatshirt is probably my favorite thing that I have created and will create all fall. I'm very excited. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be wearing this 24/7. And I love the classy look of this new tote. I think it's so sweet. Definitely going to be put to good use at the pumpkin patch. A little piece of seasonal decor that I can go ahead and change out if I wish. And I noticed right off to the side, I still have this. So I will be tucking that into the back of the frame so that I can use that if I want to interchange that at all. And then finally, the pot holder, which I thought was really fun as well. All right, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed this. Happy fall, and I'll see you next week.